Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ashok. This video is the part of LWC data communication series, where in previous video we have covered child to parent data communication. Where we have seen how to pass data from child component to parent and grandparent. And today in this video we will see how to do data communication between non-related components. Components which are not in parent-child relationship. They are in different DOM hierarchy or they are individually added on DOM. For example, here in my demo org, we have 4 LWC components, component A, B, C and D. These 3 components are in parent-child relationship. Component C is the child of component B and B is the child of component A. But this component D is not directly added to any of these components. This is the individual component which don't have any relationship with other components, right? Now here let's say we want to pass data from component C to component D. When I enter anything in this text box in component C and click on submit button, then this text box value should be passed to component D and visible here. For example, let me enter something here. Okay, now we can see value in all these components, which means here we are passing value from child component to parent and grandparent and also in unrelated component, right? Now the question is how this is working and how we can achieve this. So passing data from child component to parent and grandparent we have already seen in previous video, but how to pass data between unrelated components, that we will learn today in this video. Okay, so before moving into practical implementation, first let's understand some basics about this. Alright, so here in LWC there are 2 technologies or ways available to pass data between unrelated components, where first is PubSub module and another is Lightning Message Service, LMS. So initially when Salesforce launched LWC in 2018 or 19, then they introduced PubSub module to pass data between unrelated components. But this was not a built-in feature of LWC, this was a different library and also won't help and support many scenarios. It can only help us to pass data between non-related LWC components on single page. But what if you want to pass data across multiple apps, or if you want to establish data communication between cross UI frameworks like LWC to Aura, LWC to Visualforce or vice versa, then in these cases PubSub module definitely won't help us. So that's why Salesforce introduced new feature in LWC, that is Lightning Message Service or LMS, which can help us to cover or fulfill all the data communication scenarios. Okay, now let's see what is LMS. So we can say LMS is the new built-in feature of LWC that was introduced in Winter 20 release, and it helps us to establish data communication across the DOM between multiple UI frameworks. As of now in Salesforce there are 3 major UI frameworks available: Visualforce Pages, Aura Components and LWC Components, and all these can be used together on Salesforce Lightning Experience. Now let's say if you want to pass some data from LWC component to Aura or Visualforce, or let's say from Visualforce Pages to Aura Components and LWC, then what we can do? In these cases we can use Lightning Message Service because it allows to do communication between cross UI frameworks with a single channel. So in nutshell, we can say LMS can help us to do data communication between related and non-related LWC components and also with Aura Components and Visualforce Pages, right? Now let's see when we should use LMS or in what all scenarios we can use Lightning Message Service. So first scenario is to pass data between non-related LWC components. For this, earlier we were using PubSub library, but nowadays we generally use LMS for this, though we can use LMS to pass data between related components as well. For example, let's say in our component hierarchy, there are 4 components available in parent-child relationship like component A, B, C and D. Now let's say we want to pass data from component D to component A or from component A to component D without knowing B and C. Then what option we have? Definitely LMS, right? And second, if you want to do data communication between cross UI frameworks like LWC components to Aura and Visualforce Pages, and from Aura components to LWC and Visualforce Pages, and from Visualforce Pages to LWC components and Aura, right? So in all these scenarios we can use LMS, and also we can use LMS to establish communication between utility bar and pop out utilities. Okay. So if you face any such kind of scenarios, then you should use LMS. As of now, we have seen what is LMS and when to use it. And now let's see how to create and use LMS. So there are few steps which we need to follow to create and use Lightning Message Service, where first is to create Lightning Message Channel. LMS is based on a new type of metadata, that is Lightning Message Channel. And if we want to use Lightning Message Service, then we have to create Lightning Message Channel metadata. And for that, we have to create a message channels folder in DX project under default folder. And once folder is created, then under that folder, we have to create a Lightning Message Channel XML file with suffix .messagechannels-meta.xml. For example, let's say we want to create a message channel for account record change. Then we'll create something like account change message channel .messagechannel-meta.xml. Here account change message channel is the name of our channel and this rest is the suffix. And while creating any channel, we have to follow this naming convention rule. Okay. And we cannot create this channel XML file from Salesforce UI or from developer console. That we can easily create and deploy using VS Code. And internally LMS also use PubSub model. It works on publisher subscriber model. And in PubSub model, publisher will publish or trigger an event on particular channel, and whoever are interested to hear feeds from that channel, they will subscribe that channel. For example, here let's say we have a component C1 and a messaging channel MC1 and also two different components C2 and C3. Now what we want to do, we want to pass a message from C1 to C2 and C3. Then what we will do, we will publish a message from C1 using MC1 channel. And in C2 and C3, we will subscribe this MC1 channel. So at the end, what will happen? Whenever we will publish any message from C1 using MC1 channel, then C2 and C3 will automatically get notified because they have subscribed the same channel, right? And if we talk about real-time example, then let's say I'm a publisher who create and upload videos on my YouTube channel. And now whoever are interested to watch my videos, then they will subscribe my channel. Right. And now when I'll publish a new video, then all my channel subscribers will automatically get notified about my new video. Right. So this is how PubSub model works. Now let me come back on the steps. So after creating message channel, second step is to publish a message to that channel. Now whoever want to receive message from that channel, then they have to subscribe this message channel and have to assign a handler method. So that can get called when a new message published. Okay. And as a best practice, we have to unsubscribe that channel on component unload or whenever you don't want to listen more from that channel. Okay. So only these 4 steps we have to follow to create and use Lightning Message Service. Now to see all these things in practical, let's open our Salesforce DX project in VS Code. And here in previous video, we have already created these 3 components with required code. Here in component C, we have already created a text box and button. Now let's create component D as well with required HTML markup. Alright, here we have created a new component with basic HTML markup. Now before deployment, let's make some changes in meta config file so we can add this component on home page. Okay, here we have marked this expose property to true and added home page in targets. Now let's deploy this component and add on home page. Alright, now we can see component D as well on home page. And now as a next step, what we want to do, on clicking of this submit button, we want to pass this text box value to component D. And this is the individual component. It is not related with component C. So as we have discussed, to pass data between non-related components, we have to use LMS. So let's open our VS Code again, and as a first step, let's create message channels folder under default folder. Here is the default folder. So let's select this one and click on this new folder icon and type message channels as a folder name without space. Okay. Now as a next step, let's create a lightning message channel XML file. So for that, let's click on this new file icon and enter file name in required format. Okay. Here we have provided demo message channel as name with this suffix, and now it is a blank XML file. So if you don't know what we have to add here, then you can take code from Salesforce official website, or I will upload this code on GitHub and provide link in video description. So you can take from there as well. But for now, I'll get it from Salesforce official website. And for that, let's search lightning message channel XML and open Salesforce official website. Here you can see more details about this XML file, like what all fields can be there in that XML. And if you scroll a little bit more, then here we can see an example with XML content. And from here, we can copy this XML content as base, then we'll modify content accordingly. So let's click on this copy icon and paste in our channel XML file. Alright, now here we have XML content, and as we have discussed, here we are using lightning message channel as metadata. Right now it is showing me an error, but we can ignore it because this might be an intelligence issue of VS Code. I mean, VS Code is not identifying this keyword, but this is correct. So we can ignore this error. And here first we have master label property. This is required property. I mean, without this, we won't be able to deploy this metadata. So here let's update our channel name. Here we have used demo message channel as master label, but you can use whatever as per your requirement. Then next we have is exposed property. It will tell that this message channel can be accessed in another namespace or not. And if you don't provide this property here, then default value will be false. And normally it is not required to set true because in current org, we can directly access it. But if you are working on a managed package, then we might need to set it true. Okay. And next we have description. This is just to add more details about this channel, and also it is optional. And finally we have lightning message fields. This is very important property because here we have to define what data we want to pass using this message channel. I mean, why we are creating this message channel? To pass data between different components, right? But what data we will pass using this channel? That we will define here as fields. For example, in our current use case, we will pass username text box value to component D. So here let's create a field for username. Okay. And here we can add multiple message fields properties as per our requirement. I mean, for example, let's say we have a requirement to pass 3 values to another component. Then here we will add 3 message fields and provide respective names in field name property. Okay. So how many message fields we will create in our channel XML file? That depends on our requirement. But here in our current use case, we only want to pass username. So let's remove others. Okay. So this is how we can create a message channel by creating message channels folder and XML file with required fields. Now as a next step, let's publish a message using this channel. So if we see our requirement again, then here on clicking of this submit button, we have to publish with this text box value, right? It means we will publish a message on this button click in component C. So let's open our component C. And here we have already created button click handler in previous video. Now here first let me write code, then we'll explain it to you. Okay, so here what we have done, first we have imported publish and message context from message service module, and then we have message channel which we have created. And while importing message channel, we need to add __ c as a suffix with message channel name. Our channel name is demo message channel, but while importing in component, we have to use __ c, which specify that this is a custom message channel. So on whichever channel we want to publish a message, that we have to import here. And then we have created message context using wire adapter and message context, which we have imported from message service from here. This message context provide information about current LWC component. And if you want to publish a message from utility or service component, which doesn't extend this lightning element based component, I mean sometimes for code reusability, we used to create a utility module, and that module we are not extending with this lightning element. So the component which are not extending this lightning element based component, then there we can't create message context like this. I mean wire adapter won't work in those components which are not extending lightning element based component. So in that case, to create message context, we have to use different method, that is create message context. Like this. I mean first we have to import it from message service module, then need to call it, and it will return message context object and hold in message context property. Okay, and in service component, message component will not automatically get released. So to release this message context, we have to call a method that is release message context and pass this message context object. But here we are in a component who is extending lightning element based component. Then here we only need to write this line. Rest all things will be taken care by LWC itself. Okay, and we want to publish message on button click to pass text box value. So here we have called publish method with 3 parameters, where first we need to pass message context, which means component details who is going to publish, and second we need to pass channel on which we want to publish, and third we need to pass payload. Payload means data that we want to send to subscribers. So here we want to pass username to component D, and we have defined username field in our message channel here. So whatever properties we want to send in payload, those properties should be added in channel as a field. Like here we have created a username field, so we can only pass username as property name. And if I'll try to send in different property name, like in username 1, then subscribers will not be able to receive value. Why? Because this channel doesn't have definition for this username 1 field, right? So this thing you have to keep in mind, that whatever values we want to send to another components in payload, those properties should be defined in channel as a message fields. Okay, so to publish message using lightning message channel, we just need to write this code. The above one is for different purpose. This is related to child to parent data communication. As of now you can ignore it. This is how we can publish a message on message channel in the LWC component. Now whoever are interested to listen updates from this channel or want to get username value, there we have to subscribe this channel. And in our current use case, we want to get this value in component D. So let's subscribe this channel in component D. Okay, so here what we have done, first we have imported all the required methods from message service module, like subscribe, unsubscribe and message context. And then in similar way, we have imported our channel and also created message context. Now under this connected callback lifecycle hook, we have called subscribe method and passed all the required parameters, where first is the message context and second is the channel that we want to subscribe. And in third parameter, we are providing listener or callback method. So whenever anything will get published on this channel, then this listener method will automatically get called with passed payload. And while publishing message in payload, we have passed username property. So here we are getting username from message.username property. Here message is the payload object, and assigning that username value into local username property that we have declared here. Okay. Now what will happen when we click on this submit button in component C? This handler method will get called, and here under this handler method, first we are getting username value from text box and called publish method with this channel and payload. And at other side in component D, we have subscribed this same channel in connected callback, which means whenever this component get loaded into DOM, at that time this connected callback method will get called and subscribe this channel and assign this listener method. Now whenever this code will execute on button click, then all the subscribers of this channel will get notified with passed payload, and their listener methods will automatically get called. Which means in our component D, this username handler method will automatically get called. Why? Because we have subscribed that same channel and assigned this method as callback, right? And here we are getting value from payload and assigning into component username property, and also refer this property on HTML file. So value of this property will be visible to user. Okay. And this subscriber method returns an object. So we are storing that object into subscription property, and in disconnected callback method called unsubscribe method and pass subscription object. Now what will happen? Whenever this component will get unload, then this disconnected callback method will get called and unsubscribe this channel. Okay. So this is how we can subscribe a channel in LWC and assign listener method. And now I think we are done with all the steps. Like first we have created message channel under message channels folder, and then publishing message from component C and subscribed in component D. Okay. Now to test it, let's deploy these components with message channel. Here let's enter anything in text box and click on submit. Alright, now we can see value in component D, which means we have successfully passed value between non-related LWC components using LMS. As of now, we have subscribed channel in only one LWC component, but you can subscribe that same channel in multiple components as well, and all subscribers will get notified whenever we will publish any message on that same channel. Okay, so that's it in this video. I hope this video helped you to learn something new. If yes, then please help me too by like and subscribe my YouTube channel, and also don't forget to share your feedback in comments. That really means to me. Here we have only covered LWC to LWC data communication. If you want me to create video on LWC to other UI frameworks like Aura or Visualforce pages, then do let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in next video.